Hi guys, GadgetGirlKylie here, and today I'm bringing you a video of Toukiden for the Sony Playstation Vita. Please forgive me if I've mispronounced that, but it is a Japanese name, so there we go. But yes, I am capturing this with my PlayStation Vita capture card, so it will be in lovely HD quality. So let's get started. I have had a bit of a go of this demo already just to get used to the menu navigation and some of the controls so that you guys don't think I'm an utter failure. But yeah, basically it plays a lot like Monster Hunter. For those of you who like Monster Hunter, and if any of you are my subscribers, you'll know that I'm a massive Monster Hunter fan and I have lots of Monster Hunter content up on my channel. I play a lot of games that are similar, like God Eater Burst, Ragnarok Odyssey, Phantasy Star, Lord of Apocalypse, stuff like that. So this game is up my alley. So let's begin, and first of all we're going to go into the character creation screen. I'm just going to quickly rename my character here. I'm going to name my character Kyra simply because that is a name I use a lot on Monster Hunter, so a lot of people will recognise that as my name. I'm also going to be female, obviously, because I am a female in real life. There's not much customization in this demo, I have to say, so fingers crossed. Hopefully there will be more in the full game. Now, there are a few colour options for the bow and sash on your character. I'm just going to go with purple, and there's different voice options as well. I'm just going to go with voice number 2. I'm not going to go through all that right now, just because we want to get to the meat of the game. I'm sure that if I do end up importing this game, I will take you through the character customization properly at some point. So this is the main menu area for the demo. So the first option will take you to the quests that are available. Now, there weren't this many quests to begin with actually. Once I had defeated this particular enemy, which is like a spider type creature, these other 3 quests unlocked, so I'm not too sure if there are more available on the demo after that, but there's quite a few quests to do on the demo. But for now on this video, what I'll do is I'll stick to these first 3 quests, which involve taking down some little minion type monsters. So you've got this first monster, which is like a crocodile slug thing, which is pretty weird. Then you've got spider-like creatures, and then you've got weird goblin type creatures. So I'll just do those few quests on this video, showing you guys the different weapon classes that are available. So to begin with, let's just select this quest with the slug crocodile, and we have 3 characters here, which we can take all 3 of them into the quest with us if we so choose. Now if we go to the second option, this will take us to our weapons. So don't quote me on this, I'm just going to call these weapons whatever I decide, because I couldn't find a proper wiki with the weapon classes, so I'm just going to say this is the longsword, which is pretty nice. Looks very similar to Monster Hunter, obviously. Handles in a similar way, though there are different variations to attacks. The second weapon is something I like to call Gauntlets, which are basically punching weapons, which are pretty badass. Then we've got the third weapon, which is actually funny because this was used in an episode of Naruto and I did know what it was called, but now it's just slipped my mind, so I'm just going to call it a Scythe. The next weapon is a bow and arrow. And then we go back to the longsword. Now there are 2 other classes in the full game, which are spear and dual blades, but it's a bit unfortunate that we can't use those on this demo. So for now I'm going to stick with this longsword weapon. Now if we go to the third option, this takes us to the characters that we have in our team. Now I'm not too sure what this does since it's all in Japanese, but from what I've figured out, when we're in the field in a quest, if I hit the shoulder button, it'll like bring up my attacks, and then if I press triangle, circle, X or square, it's almost like as if it gives me a boost to that specific attack. So I don't know whether, depending on which characters you select to do this, will have different effects on different attacks. So I'm just going to stick with that. but again, don't quote me on that, it is in Japanese. And then the final option is just controls. So we're just going to jump straight into a quest here. I've accidentally just cancelled that, so we're just going to jump into the quest with the weird crocodile slug type monsters. So graphically the game is pretty damn impressive, I have to say. Character designs look nice. I like the menu layout, very familiar and Monster Hunter-esque, with the weapon classes and health bars for your characters. Even when you're playing solo, it makes you have a sense of that you are playing online because you've got those 3 other team members with you. You'll notice that I've got a familiar stamina bar underneath my health bar that depletes when I'm holding down the R button to run. Now here we go, here's the slug type crocodile creature that's just mowed me down with its fat body. So I've got a few different attacks here. You'll notice in the bottom right hand corner, which correspond to what I'm doing on the screen. So I'm pressing square now, which is just a basic slash attack. I've got triangle, which seems to be a longer, harder attack. And then I've got circle, which is actually pretty interesting. It seems like a special attack that looks pretty darn badass. And then X is just roll. Now I can actually lock onto the monsters by hitting the left shoulder button, which obviously makes it easier, especially if there's loads of little minions and you just want to kill those guys. So you can obviously chain attacks together like you can do on Monster Hunter. If I hold down the triangle button now, powerful slash attack, but obviously the monster was already dead, so I hit nothing. But I am pretty fond of that circle attack, but you'll notice that there are numbers next to the attacks, which don't seem to be depleting right now, but I have noticed that sometimes they do deplete, so I don't know the differences between those. And also, before I forget, if I press select, it's almost like Mind's Eye on Soul Sacrifice. It tells you the health of the monsters. So if I just start attacking this thing now, you'll see it depleting. And then it's dead, which is handy against bosses basically. So it's pretty cool, that. So I'll just wait for this quest to end and then obviously I'll switch weapon, and that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing for this particular video, is taking you guys through the different quests with the different weapon classes. But to keep it interesting, I'll keep switching between those first 3 quests that I said I'd show you guys on this particular video, and then obviously the other videos I'm just going to be fighting the different various bosses and other levels that are available in this demo. So from what I can actually see as well, you don't get healing items. I don't know whether that's different in the full version. From what I can tell, you just get healed by your teammates, by spells and stuff like that. So I'm just going to change to quest 2 now. Still take all 3 characters with me. I'm going to switch to the gauntlet type weapons. And I'm just going to set off on the quest. I did actually somehow change the controls earlier, actually. I'm not too sure how I managed that. So I'm going to go through here. So I do think it's pretty cool that you always keep your weapons out, and if you hold down the R button, that's when you're running. So I can see these gauntlet type weapons being one of my favourite type weapons on this game. They're pretty darn cool and they're pretty badass looking, I have to say. Obviously straightforward punches. This is just the square attack here. Triangle is the more powerful attack. It seems to actually have a fire element on it. And then I've got circle, which not too sure what that does. We'll have to get closer to an enemy and see. We'll do it on this one here. Ah, right, okay, so it's like a continuous punch. It seems to take off a lot of stamina, but I guess that's good if the boss is down on its ass and you just want to pummel away and take off a load of damage. The environments look pretty nice as well. The most impressive thing I've seen so far are the bosses. The detail on the bosses are really nice. I mean, I've only fought one boss so far, which is that spider type boss, but it looks really awesome. You'll have to wait and see when I do a video for it, but it does look really, really nice. So I'm just going to run forward here, kill the rest of these spiders, and then we can switch to another weapon. So there may be some moves that obviously I'm not doing with each weapon, because I've literally only just started playing this demo myself, and I'm recording it like after only playing it for an hour, so I'm sure there's a few things that I'll end up missing off or not talking about. But just from playing this demo, I think I've pretty much made my mind up that I will be importing this game and covering it on my channel. So obviously if that's something that will interest you, then don't forget to stay tuned to that. I think it's going to be a really, really great game. There is actually an Asian version coming out, but I couldn't find any information as to whether that's going to have English text. I tried typing it in Google, I looked on PlayAsia, and they've got no information as to whether it's going to have English text. So far I've just ordered the Japanese version. These stones are actually pretty weird. I didn't actually get to go up to it, but if you saw that green flashing stone, I'm not too sure what that does. You kind of pray next to it. I'm not too sure whether that's like a checkpoint or something. No idea. So I'm going to do the Goblin Quest now. Looks like I can only take one player with me. And I'm switching to this weird scythe-like weapon. So I've only used this weapon a tiny bit, and I don't really like it, but I might change my mind. We'll just get to where the enemies are and I'll have a little bit of a go with this. I'm not too sure what that does. I don't know, it's growing on me actually. It allows you to stay at a distance. So this is the square attack. That's just sent me missions actually. Triangle seems to be using the blade weapon on this scythe. The blade part of this weapon rather, I should say. And the square seems to be the chain with whatever that thing is on the end. Does cover quite a lot of range actually, this thing. Oh yeah, before I forget, this is me holding down the R button, and when I stand still I can press square and you'll see that I'm now glowing. So like I said, I think that gives a boost to whatever attack you choose, but you'll notice that that's reduced the number down. So if I do it with triangle there, the number's gone from 8 to 7. So I think using those boosts does reduce that number, and that's only when that number reduces. So I don't know what happens when that goes to 0. Maybe it needs time to recharge, or maybe you can't use that move at all. Actually, you'll notice that the square move is now blacked out, so it's actually growing on me, this weapon, to be honest. Not too sure how many of these guys I'm supposed to kill here. I've killed quite a few. Have I done it now? Have I done the quest, or is it saying I've got 20 left or something? Maybe I picked the wrong quest here, guys. What I might do then is come out of this quest. That's pause actually. Come out of this quest and change weapon and pick a different quest. I didn't realise it was kill 20 of those orc type creatures or whatever. It was probably actually kill 40 because I killed a lot of them already, so I think it was probably saying you have 20 left or something. So we'll just go back to the crocodile slug quest here. I'll change my weapon again. So this time we're going with bow. And I think that's the last weapon then, so this is the last part of this video, taking a look at the bow and arrow. So that's square. I don't have to charge it up actually, I can just keep firing off with the bow. Now this seems bad. So if I hold that down, I'm having to move the right stick, obviously where underneath the triangle button. How the heck are you supposed to do that? That needs changing. That needs changing to, oh actually I can change it to, I think I'm using the D-pad now, so yeah, I'm using the, if you use the D-pad instead, that's a lot easier. God knows why they allowed you to change the where the arrows go in with the right analog stick when you've got the action buttons there. That seems a bit weird to me, but the bow was actually the weapon I defeated the spider boss with. I'm actually liking the bow quite a bit on this game. Seems easier to control than on Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate and Portable 3rd HD. Now this circle attack is really interesting. From what I can tell, it kind of locks onto the enemy's weak points, and especially when the enemy is flashing like a boss, like certain parts of its body, for example on the spider boss its legs are flashing. If you use that, it might break a part off or stagger it and make it fall down, which is cool. So I think it is kind of like a critical. Just run over here to the monster here. So yeah, I'm really liking the bow. I think at the moment the longsword, the gauntlets and the bow are my favourite weapons right now. Can't see any more enemies. Actually, there's one over here. There we go, that thing's down. But yeah, so far I'm pretty much enjoying this game. Like I said, I'll definitely be importing this. God knows if it'll get a Western release or when it'll get a Western release. But still, I think it'll be a good game to add to my channel, and hopefully it'll be one that you guys are interested in. Leave a comment and let me know what you think so far about this game. But otherwise, like I said, I'll be doing other gameplay footage of this game consisting of the other quests and boss battles and stuff like that. But for now, I'll say goodbye. You've been watching GadgetGirlKylie. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I shall see you next time, guys.